Happy witching hour, YouTube. This is High Priestess Jamila. So, how is this Mercury retrograde treating everybody? A lot of people don't really understand Mercury retrograde, and I have been doing my research, okay, because that's my job. And then, since my spirit guides are so amazing, they have been really, really giving me all kinds of information that I am here to share with y'all. During this time of Mercury retrograde, you are encouraged to do a lot of self reflection, which is typically why people will go into hermit mode during this time. It is directly connected to that Virgoan energy to where you will start to do a lot of inner reflection, which is really good. It is. And a part of that inner, doing that soul searching, because soul searching is not just about finding yourself, it's a lot more complicated and deep than that. But when you think about Mercury retrograde, so we will be in this retrograde until the 14th, which is about what, like 6 more days. And so this is an excellent time. Like I actually really love Mercury retrograde. This one was a little rough, and it was because there was some things that were happening that was causing more delays than what I was already experiencing. But the reason why stuff starts coming back up from the past is because Mercury in retrograde brings the past forward. Um, Things that are relevant from the past. And, so this is the reason why sometimes exes will try to make contact with you during this time. Typically it is to um either to reconcile the situation or either to um tie up that loose end so that everybody can move on sometimes. Okay. But what my spirit guides have really been working with me on, especially the past week or so, because like I said, this Mercury retrograde was hell. It was ridiculous. It was miscommunication. Of course, during Mercury retrograde, people that are codependent start acting up. Codependent people start pretty much acting a fool. And that's why we always call them distractions, because sometimes they can bring up things that may be important to them but may not be important to you. Anyway, um it's an excellent time for positive things. And so I always look at Mercury retrograde as a positive. And that's because my spirit guides are always guiding me correctly. They they really are. And I kind of, in the past week, because like I said, my spirit guides are they are really sort of upgrading me a lot, especially when it comes to how effective I am with assisting clients with past life regressions, but then also fertility. But I want to focus on the past life regressions in this discussion. Past life regressions can add it with, because So you don't have to be going through uh Mercury retrograde to experience past life regressions. You don't. But they do become more intensified. And it is important to, like I said, focus and do soul searching, and do inner reflection. So during Mercury retrograde, we are sort of forced to look at the past, in particular past lives. So this is a part of soul searching, especially if you have had more than one lifetime. A lot of the times, your soul or your being may have experienced a lot of trauma, and it's time for you to work those things out. And so it seems like it puts, other things kind of to the side to create this space for you to deal with past life regressions. And no matter how short or long that past life was, it's important for you to look at it. And then sometimes, if you have ignored it for so long, or if it's something that you were supposed to pay attention to. Um, and so I'll give you guys an example to, kind of help you understand what I'm talking about. Um, there was Everybody knows that I was Ma Barker in a previous life. Like I talk about it a lot. I even posted it to my wall. The resemblance, the pictures of her. Her and I side by side. Um, and that past life, I actually did a lot of deep healing. So technically, I shouldn't be experiencing any, if at all, because what I believe happens with your past life is that, and this is a part of your Akashic records. Okay, it is. um, what I've been doing with that particular past life is making sure, and you should consult with someone that is authentic, that can definitely help you with stuff like this. But what I've been doing is making sure that any spirits or negative energy from that life doesn't affect this one. Because obviously, if you were Ma Barker in a previous life, you gonna bring in some past life regressions. So, for example, I used to always feel her wounds, which was how she died. I would always feel that wounding, and I don't feel that anymore, which thank God, thank goddess. But it, maybe a touch of it, but so these are things that you can either work with a spiritualist such as myself, or you can, if you know how to work on self, you can work with these things on yourself. So obviously, there's a lot of things about myself that I work on every single day, if I have to. But, especially during this time, those energies can become intensified, and you can actually experience past life regressions, from several different lifetimes at once. But um, for this particular Mercury retrograde, there was another past life that I was supposed to focus on. And it's crazy because, especially when you look in the cards or you read the cards yourself, these cards are so accurate. It's eerie. So, um, your north and your south node in your zodiac birth chart, in your natal chart, tells you a lot about the past. But I think that your north node can give you a lot of clues and can help you, but it's actually the south node, which I had a serious Mandela effect experience yesterday that was very weird. Because I could have swore that it was your north node, but I think it's actually both. I think both the north and the south node will tell you about who you were in a past life. Okay. And even the zodiac signs will match. Okay. According to the birth date, the date of birth of your past life. So I have my south node is actually in Aries. And so there was a past life that I had to work on that was immediately prior to this one. I mean, like immediately, but it was a short life. And I'm not going to get into details about that. I'm not, but it was something that I had to work on that was, causing a lot of blocks and a lot of wounds. And so, you can use that kind of as inspiration or as an example of what I'm talking about. Past life regressions, no matter how short or long they were, can and will affect you in this life, especially during Mercury retrograde. So, what I wanted to talk to about with clients is for you to sort of not become or have what I call tunnel vision. And this is when you get focused on just what you desire and you don't necessarily focus and all of everything that you desire it's a need. A desire is a need, okay? But sometimes in order to get to those desires and to fulfill those needs, you have to look at these blockages that are standing in the way of your needs, which either could be energetic blocks in your chakras or in which, in your soul. And it can also be spirits. Okay. Because I believe going a little bit deeper, going way deeper, seeing as though I am a necromancer, um, that you can actually have spirits from your past life. And I think it's important for you guys to explore that. Now, typically, a lot of this exploration comes in with my students. I almost always, instruct my students on a deep level how to deal with their past lives, actually how to do it, how to deal with it so that these things don't affect you in this life. And it is important to focus on that and to not necessarily, I mean, keep things as a priority, but sometimes you have to take maybe a day or two to focus and to reflect on that. And so that is really what makes Mercury retrograde so difficult for a lot of people. And a lot of people don't understand it. They don't. I myself had to gain a deeper level of understanding for it because my practice at Divine Services is going to have a huge focus on people that are experiencing past life regressions and how to move on from it. Because, and especially if you have exhausted everything, if you have went through everything that you thought was going on and then you still didn't get what you wanted, okay? So that's when it's time to look at self, and that is a part of self. Okay? And you're also another thing, past lives um can can cause you to experience certain things within yourself that you may either like or dislike. Now, I personally, going back to my past life as Arizona Clark, um, I have been healing that thing for years, that situation for years. And and I haven't had like bad past life regressions from that since, man, it's been years. But I think that sometimes these things do pop up during the retrograde, especially Mercury retrograde, because planet Mercury is all about communication. So I think that with past life regression, it's not just Mercury retrograde. It's when Saturn goes into retrograde is when we want to focus on that. And I've been getting into astrology because I think that it's important to watch what these planets are doing, because it makes you feel as though things are out of your control. And the reason why it's out of your control is probably because you are not focusing on the right things. We haven't really been taught to focus on the right things though, so it's understandable, that you don't, but now you know. Okay, I will be doing some readings over on TikTok if you guys follow me over there. I am going to be doing some readings. I wanted to do them yesterday, but I needed to get more sleep, because I think I got like what 2 or 3 hours of sleep yesterday. So I am going to be on the talk doing some past life readings. Okay, because it's something that you have to explore. So like, for example, if you are a client, and some of my clients are, okay, so for example, if you guys are clients that feel as though you've been crossed, or you need to be uncrossed, or you need a curse reversal, or you need a cleanse, a lot of you guys, like when I look at the cards and stuff, like, I think that it's important when you have already done the work on certain things and these things just keep coming back up, for you to look at your past life, especially when planets start to go into retrograde, meaning that they're moving backwards. But especially when it comes to Mercury retrograde, it's literally bringing the past back, which can, to me, include spirits. Okay, because I'm a witch, and I'm not just an astrologer. I'm a witch. Okay, so I don't just see, and I'm a medium, so I don't just see certain things from a technical point of view. I see things from a spiritual point of view. So no matter what it is that you're working on, especially those of you that are working on cases that take time, things that are not going to happen overnight. I think it's important for you guys to focus on that. And, that is when you sort of become the devil card in the tarot, because it's like you're so focused on this situation to the point where you're obsessing over it. It's like, and obsessing over something is the opposite of patience. And patience is a very, very powerful energy. Okay. But it's very difficult, and you can be out of control of yourself when it comes to having patience, because there's things that you need, there's things that you want, which those things are very important. Okay. So I'm like the devil's advocate. So I believe that your wants, your desires, and your needs are important, just like everybody else's. Okay. I mean, they're important. So, that's why I'm willing to take that leap with y'all. That's why I got into this. So take the time to focus on self care, and doing your past life regression work is very important when it comes to self care and then even healing of the soul. Because there are certain things that could have happened to you during past lives, especially if you come from the certain eras. And this can be, and you know what? I think also um, abortion. Okay, that comes up for me a lot is abortion. Were you an aborted fetus? If you were aborted in another, lifetime, you can experience past life regression from that abortion. It can be that little because you were still a physical being, even though you may have been, very small and didn't necessarily come into this world. You did come into this world. You just were not allowed to be born. And that particular trauma can affect you as well. And also for some of you mamas out there, it can even affect your children because this is um, it's a womb imprint. And abortions have been happening throughout history. And I think that this is something that people don't really pay attention to. But I'm pretty sure that there's other spiritualists out there, trust me, because I'm not just discovering all of this stuff myself. Many others have discovered this before me. So I'm just I'm just gonna acknowledge that. But because I was able to Google Mercury retrograde and past life regressions and how they are directly connected. So that's a possibility. And then also if you were I do believe that people can be certain other living things, but I think that it's mainly those things that happened that may have caused trauma, and very specific trauma. So for example, when you get a spiritual cleanse, at least from me, okay, um my spiritual cleanses are, to me, they're unique because when I've spoken to other people about how they cleanse, they don't typically cleanse the same way that I do, which I use fire and intent is what I use, and then spirit, of course. So, but my cleansing petitions are meant to cleanse and clear you from the past. But I think that when you're dealing with past lives, you have to be very specific as far as what it is that you're cleansing and what it is that you're healing, because that's basically what the cleanses are. They're healings. Cleanses are very healing. Okay, so that's why I don't necessarily offer healings. It's cleanses, because cleanses will jumpstart the healing process. Even though if it's something like if you've cut yourself or something, or if you have some kind of wound or something or other minor thing, if you've got cancer or something, I don't typically touch that because I'm not ready for nothing like that. I really am not going to do things that I'm not ready to deal with. um but minor things I heal, but mainly it's all about the cleanses. And so the cleanses to me are the key to dealing with past life regressions as well. But I think that also you need to really look at it. You have to look at it. And when you look at it, it'll make sense. Okay, for example, what I've noticed, a lot of people, and that's why I brought up abortion, a lot of people have phobias and fears surrounding not being wanted, not being accepted, not being appreciated. Okay. So that can directly point to abortion. Okay. So for example, boy, I have really overshared a lot previously. I have a tendency to overshare, but if you had a parent that, you know what I'm saying, that may have aborted you, and some of you guys had to kind of fight to get here, because, and I don't want to say fight to get here, because if it, your soul or your spirit kind of um wants to come in to your specific parents for whatever reason, okay? Whatever the reasoning was behind it, you wanted to be born through your parents. And so if your mother had, aborted you, and then you had to come through 2 or 3 times before you were born actually officially as a full person, of course you're going to have trauma from that. And luckily, with the hand of the god and goddess, you were born a full healthy person, and you were not missing any limbs and stuff like that. But because they feel that sometimes certain scars, or uh even what do you call that, birth defects, can be related to the past life, certain scars and birth defects on your body. So take this time out and stop wasting time, is what I was going to say, because there's a lot of you that are really wasting a lot of time on self-pity instead of being proactive and taking action for the work that you need to have done. And we're not going to have another Mercury retrograde until August, September. Which means that in the next several days, things are going to get back to normal. But what I want you guys to understand is that, number one, if you work on your past life regressions, it's only going to make life better. It's only going to bring more fulfillment to your life. Okay, that's number one. Number two, there is more than just negativity that comes from the past life or your past life regressions. Well, regression is somewhat negative, but your past life self can bring you a lot of positive and very powerful energy that you can use to help you survive, and to help you overcome certain situations, and to help you um move forward, because a lot of you guys feel stuck. A lot of y'all feel stuck. A lot of y'all feel like, I'm gonna tell you what I was sensing from a lot of people, a lot, because I'm an empath, and so you can't get nothing past me. And even a few times I even thought it, but I didn't actually say it. A lot of y'all have been feeling like, "Look, God, why have you forsaken me?" A lot of people have been, because this one was that rough. And that is what Mercury is all about. That's what it's all about, and that's one of the things, that's one of the aspects. Um, I feel that during Mercury retrograde, however, though, as a witch, I feel that Mercury retrograde manifests my um spell work. I don't want to say faster. I don't want to say that it manifested faster, because some things have to be fast, some things you can't really wait. But we did work with Saint Expedite. We did a group with Saint Expedite, and that group was really good, because what Saint Expedite did was he moved a lot of stuff out of the way, because everybody, like mostly everybody that was in the group, wanted to remove some kind of blockage that was created by someone else outside of themselves. Like, everybody. Everybody in the group wanted to do that. It had something to do with somebody that was hindering them. And so I think that what Saint Expedite did was he moved a lot of those toxic energies away so that you could focus on, including myself, so that we could all focus on, becoming stronger, becoming wiser. And, this is just one of those things. I know that for me, it's been pretty amazing because certain spell workings that I did came from, direct downloads, so to speak, from the Beltane, from ancestors and stuff. Hey Kelly, hello. We are talking about past life and Mercury retrograde. Mm-hmm. And so I'm actually getting ready to get off of here and go to TikTok and possibly do some readings. It depends. A lot of people have a lot of questions over there about um a lot of people have a lot of questions. They have like general love questions, and I feel that people need to work on self. When it comes to love, you need to work on self. And for me, working on self includes, getting rid of bad spirits that are not needed, because a lot of it, it's one of those things to where you look around and with the muggles and everything, people don't realize that they can have spirits on them, attached to them, or kind of coming through them. So it's kind of difficult, when people don't want to pay attention to that. So it's kind of like, they're like, is so and so coming back to me? No, they're not coming back to you. Does so and so love me? Yeah, they love you, but they don't want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel that people should focus on self. And so my moon sign is actually Virgo. So and then I'm on the cusp of Gemini, and then my chart is actually very Mercury dominant. I have a Mercury dominant chart. I do. I've got either Virgo or Gemini. Gemini is one of the dominant signs in my chart completely. So, I do a lot of self-reflection, and I am somewhat of a hermit. I'm actually not the most social person. Like, I was social distancing even before the pandemic. Aside from work, aside from talking to people that I work with, but um I think that if you are a client that is working with me right now, what I wanted to encourage you guys to start focusing on is self. Start doing self reflection. Start looking at what's going on. Some of you guys will ask questions. You'll be like, well, I'm experiencing this and I'm experiencing that. And I'm like, well, we've already done the reversal. You don't have to do a reversal over and over again. You don't have to repeat things over and over again. If you've already done the work, you should not have to do that work for another at least 90 days. You shouldn't have to keep doing things over and over and over again. So then, if you've done the reversal, or for example, if you feel like you've been crossed or your finances have been crossed, which a lot of people have been feeling that way, if you've already done the reversal and you've already done a road opener and you've even cleansed yourself, you've done basic cleansing work, then maybe it's other things that you need to look at about self. Okay. Now, obviously, a cleanse is going to cleanse your soul, but when it comes to past life stuff, you have to remember it. And trust me, remembering your past life it's not always as traumatic as people make it seem. It can be, though. It can be, but you're already experiencing it, so you might as well understand why you're experiencing that. Okay. So like it and typically, um especially when you're dealing with the spirit of death, the Lord's prayer, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I think that that's pretty much what they were talking about. Okay. So hello, Sylvana. Hello. Hi. So y'all, I need my eye. I think I rubbed something into my eye. That was weird. I need to go rinse my eye out. I don't, and this eye has been bothering me today too. It's weird. Okay, so anyway, trying to let it water. Um, so those are things that you have to focus on. And so I don't know. You know what? I honestly, um, in the future, I feel like some like for example, taking full love cases and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna start foregoing that and focus specifically on um, hold on a second, guys. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm back. I was talking to my. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm back. So I don't know. It's a lot to deal with. It is. It's a lot to deal with. Like when I take these cases for y'all, when like when y'all are in spiritual battle with people, and spiritual warfare and spiritual battle can cause a lot of blocks in your spirit, to even to where, like, even while you're dealing with that spiritual battle, you can't focus on the spiritual battle itself. You have to focus on what can help you. And what can help you is your spirit guides and your angels, just focusing on the problem constantly. You got to step up out of that. You got to step up out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop focusing on the problem and focus on the solution. And a lot of times the solution is a lot more complicated than what people think. And when I'm working with clients, I thoroughly enjoy working with all of my clients because, you guys are the ones that make it possible for me to run a business. But, it's times when I do have to be stern with y'all and I do have to say, hey, listen, there are things that you need to look at within yourself and resolve it, because then what you'll do is you'll start getting stuck in blaming someone else for the things that are happening to you, when in reality your spirit guides and your protection should be doing that. But you can't protect yourself from yourself. You can't be protected from self. You're going to always have to deal with yourself. And a part of yourself is your past life. Okay. So I already have things. I've been had things put into place from the beginning to help clients with their past life stuff, but I've been perfecting it. I've been perfecting it, especially when it comes to um how to deal with spirits. These are things that can travel. And sometimes when it comes to your past life, you can have enemies in that past life that probably have nothing to do with the people that don't like you or that you're battling with, or they may be directly connected. It depends. Okay. Those of you that have these so-called enemies online, uh, I mean, I guess even people that can become an online enemy. I've noticed that, but some of these people that y'all focus on the internet are not that important. They're like, they should only take up, negative, they should only take up 1 to 2% of your time per year. They shouldn't be all the time. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself with no progression forward, because those people become a distraction. Those people start to distract you away from what you're supposed to be focused on. And I'm going to tell you something, it irritates me every single time, which is why I've been looking away from distractions, because I feel like, if there was any kind of actual karmic tie with people online, if there was actually a karmic tie, your spirit guides would let you know. But they're not letting you know that. Or maybe they are, or maybe it's not time to deal with it. Like I said, this retrograde will be over on the 14th, and I cannot wait, which is actually Mother's Day. So we're gonna see what happens with that. So anyway, I'd like to start seeing more past life clients. But not only that, more of my current clients focusing on dealing with whatever it is that's in your past life. Okay. If you have one, I would say that most of us do. I feel like most people had a past life, and some people probably have had more than others. Okay. And there's all sorts of ways that you can do it. I mean, I'm always constantly encouraging the people that I work with to self empower themselves and to not get stuck on me doing everything for you. So, for example, there's certain meditations that you can do that have nothing to do with nobody else necessarily, to connect with your source. You have to be able to connect. eh, You know, think about it. If still exist, obviously there's a reason for that. And, your existence doesn't necessarily have to do with destroying somebody or harming somebody. People get stuck on that. And that's something spiritually that, now you may want to destroy somebody's power in your life, which is fine. You may want to destroy a connection with a person. You may not want to be connected with that person, or you know what I'm saying? But it's really looking at self is so important. And these are one of those things that you should make yourself, obviously your family or your husband or your job is going to be a priority, but then self should be a priority as well, to where you take some time out to focus and look at you and figure out exactly what has happened. Okay? And so um I want to see more people come in getting past life readings, because there's certain cards that I'll pull, like the death card, the judgment card, six of pentacles, six of cups. All of those cards can indicate past life stuff. And some of it can range from either being not serious at all to either being very serious and possibly getting ready to have a disastrous effect on your life. And if these are disasters that you can't afford, these are disasters that your spirit guides are telling you to avoid. And if you've already done the work, like for example, if you've got an enemy, right? You got an enemy, they throwing curses at you. You don't put up your protection, you don't reverse it, you ward it. That's it. You don't need to do anything else with that. Focus on you, right? Focus on you. No matter how unevolved or evolved that person is, whatever, you have to focus on you, because at the end of the day, if you have some kind of disaster in your life, who else can you blame? Like, that's the way I look at it though. If something happens to me, like something that would be traumatic that I don't want to happen, I don't blame other people. I blame me, because at the end of the day, it's always on me. What happens to me is on me. And you have to start looking at it like that. If you start to look at it like, oh, my enemies caused this to happen to me or that to happen to me, then that means that you are weak. That's a weakness. That means that you didn't focus enough on what you can do for self. Because what else can you do to what do you think you I'm pretty sure that for all of us, there are people that we would just like to take a sledgehammer and just bop them upside the head, which for me, it ain't that deep. There's nobody that I would want to create that kind of negative karma for myself. Nobody's that important to me. Nobody. Nobody has that much power over me to where I feel like I got to do away with them. Nah, you not that powerful. I'm the source of power in my own life. Period. And that's the way you got to look at it. And so if you get out of that victim playing mode and you truly empower yourself, right? Then you can make some big time changes and have a lot of success in your life. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people are not successful, is because, they will always look at other people, always look at, oh, you did this to me, you did this to me, you did this to me. What? Like, most of us are, unless you are legit mentally ill and, obsessed over a person, which is a whole other ball game. But if you are like me and you're focused on what it is that you need to do for you and your family on a daily basis, then that's a start to it. But at the end of the day, a lot of the times, a lot of people right now are feeling like a lot of this is out of their control. I understand that there are some people right now, they are praying a lot to God. They are praying a lot at the moment. But then what if God doesn't answer you? Because a lot of people are like, well, I prayed on it and God didn't really answer it. So that meant that it was meant for me to have all this traumatic stuff and lose everything that I ever had. And I don't agree with that. I don't believe in that. I believe that God helps those that helps themselves. And I truly believe that spiritualists like myself, even therapists and psychologists and stuff, doctors, I believe that they are in alignment with God for the most part, unless they're like a pill pusher or something, which I don't like that. But, especially when it comes to a spiritualist that knows about these things and has experience with these things, you know what I'm saying? I can tell you that it has helped me push forward to the point where, I am focusing on purchasing a home, and I probably would be trying to focus on doing it right now, but I'm going to be here for a while. So, anyway, but to be honest with you, can your enemies do things to mess you up? Absolutely. Do the work and chill and relax. If you've done the work and it's been effective, now if you running around doing ineffective work, which a lot of people think that a reversal is just a reversal, but there's many steps to doing a successful reversal of a curse, because a curse a lot of the times involves spirits and the conjuring, the conjuration of spirits, the invocation of certain spirits. So and I mean, I guess, yeah, there's other stuff that I do. It's other stuff that I do when it comes to reversals. I don't just light a 7-day candle. Okay. That's pretty much my policy on that these days. And it works for me, you know. But then, you have to accept when the work has been done as well, because a lot of times when you have been hit up with a curse or something, it can be very traumatizing. And then the question is, what do you do with that curse? I spoke about it yesterday, and not too many people like that. Not too many people like having that mirror held up to their faces. They don't. Because guess what? Let's say that you had your own set of issues. I mean, you was dealing with your own stuff, but then you decided to blame it on somebody else. I think everybody makes that mistake. Well, not me, because I'm perfect. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. My craft is has been perfected. No, seriously though. Like, I don't just look at a person and go, oh, that, and I don't even know, oh, that's the person that's doing so, sometimes it is, but 9 times out of 10 it's not. You're just trying to put your stuff on somebody else. But if you are a person that has conjured these spirits mistakenly against a person, and that person kept sending it back to you, and they kept sending it back to you, and they kept sending it back to you, stuff that you created, things that you created, which are your responsibility, right? Whether or not you did it yourself or you're working with a spiritualist. For me, at some point, I'll start to send stuff into the void to where I won't send it back, because guess what? It ain't about whether or not that person is, like, I should be scared of that person. Some people always come from a fearful standpoint. Oh, if somebody curses you, don't send it back to them, and da da da. Man, y'all better quit bowing down to people. Because all these people on this earth, they are flesh and bone, just like everybody else, right? So, yeah, if somebody sends you something, you definitely have the right to send it back. But after a while, you don't want to play ping pong with that bad energy. Send it somewhere. Banish it through time and space. Get rid of it. And you don't want to always have to be dealing with people sending you things and then you're always working to filter that stuff out. I mean, you don't want to feel like you're always reversing something. That's bull crap. Don't nobody want to have to deal with that. So then that's when you have to do effective warding. I mean, it's going to be different for a witch, or especially a witch that is practicing is going to be different because you're dealing with so many different, people and their stuff. So, you have to be in the habit of clearing that stuff out and sweeping that stuff out. You know what I'm saying? But, for you guys, a lot of the times it's not just that person. Now it could be, like I said, if I tell you, okay, yes, somebody did send you this, somebody, then if you can get it confirmed, then yeah. But focus on self-reflection. And I think that that's what Mercury retrograde forces a lot of people to do. And a lot of people don't want to do that. It's called shadow work. Shadow work is difficult for a lot of people. Okay, it is. It's difficult. It can be difficult looking at yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because some people are so far in denial that everything is always somebody else's fault. I've even noticed that on YouTube. I've noticed that, especially amongst the spiritual community. People in the spiritual community, as soon as Mercury retrograde hit, the drama hit. It was like, really? Like, that's what you're supposed to be doing right now, hun. And that's why I don't really have very many friends, because people like to, well, I have a lot of friends. My clients, I consider y'all to be friends. But it's the truth. Like, why, what do I have to do with whatever problems that you have? Okay, does anybody here feel that if somebody is constantly trying to be in your energy, that you have the right to kick their asses out? You don't want those people in your energy. Nobody has the right to trespass on you. It's called boundaries. It's called boundaries. And if you feel that somebody's always in your energy, and I'm talking about you, thinking about you, you done did something to them, then and you like, child, I'm over here. I got a whole family. I got a whole family to support and deal with. I have a whole life that I'm happy with, to deal with. And so that's, sometimes people, that's why I kind of shy away from YouTube, because people that you ain't even been thinking about will start harassing you. Like the incident that I had yesterday, it was very triggering. It did trigger Arizona. What happened yesterday triggered Arizona. Donnie Clark triggered her completely and totally. I mean, she actually did come to the surface when that happened. And so it was like, really, like, that's one of the reasons why I have this dream of just moving to the middle of the goddamn forest and being off the grid. I would love to be off the grid completely and get away from a lot of these people, because people are annoying. I totally understand, y'all. People are annoying. They are. If listen, somebody just pop up out of nowhere, and it's like, I don't. It's like, I'm not even thinking about you, and they just pop up. It's like, what do you want? Like, goodness gracious, it's annoying. Because most of us, especially if you rocking with me, y'all are focused on the things that are important to you, which is you, maybe bills that you have to pay, maybe, you know what I'm saying, your children, your grandchild, your husband, your wife. That's who you're focused on. You're not focused on people. And it is a lot of annoying people that they don't do any spiritual work on themselves, obviously. Obviously they're not. So I totally understand. But try not to get too caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it feels like they're forcing themselves on you because for whatever reason, possibly could be codependency. But this particular Mercury retrograde, people was tripping. Like there was the shooter in Atlanta. And then, like, I don't know if y'all realize it, but there were like several very traumatic events that happened throughout the globe. One of them over in Texas. This dude just, I think he ran over some people in his vehicle. It was some kind of car accident or something. And then there was a shooting, I believe. There was a lot of shootings and stuff, and people, I don't know why the elites dumbed down most of our society. If they were teaching if they were teaching in school and in high school what I just spoke about literally for the past hour, we would have a better world. We would have a less violent, more peaceful world. So I don't understand why they want to keep people dumbed down as a whole. It irritates me. It really does. But you know what? Is getting irritated and getting angry gonna help? Nope. It's just gonna make me feel irritated, and I'm not going to do it. And I'm just going to thank God that myself and my loved ones are safe and alive, and that I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning and I was okay. You know what I'm saying? But the world in itself it's very irritating when you look around, and it's just like, okay, now this is happening. Oh Lord, now this is happening. Now this is happening. And I don't feel that these things have to happen. I don't feel that everything that happens is necessarily fate. In fact, I don't believe that 80 to 90% of this crap that happens in this world is fate. I don't. Okay, so, and I have the right to my own personal beliefs about it. In particular, that guy that was running around here in Atlanta shooting people. Uh, you know, And then they'll say, "Oh, well, he had mental problems." You don't say, you don't say. But I think that we are taught to be dumb from the beginning, and to fear the unknown, to fear ourselves, to So anyway, all right, y'all. That's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Um, I think that people should definitely do shadow work and past life stuff, because it just, my God, it was like so much drama and traumatic stuff that, and y'all, I can't deal with other people's trauma. I have enough to do. I have enough on my plate. Why should I have to deal with other people's traumas? I don't, that's just like, you can't, like, these days, I mean, a lot of people think that mental health should be free if it's coming from like a facility or some kind of doctor's office. And maybe that's true, maybe it should be free, but my services that I provide are not free, and I have the right to do that. And it seemed like a lot of people just want a free resting spot for their bad stuff, and I don't appreciate it, because I'm not just some sponge that's there for you to wipe up all of your problems. And I don't like that. And nobody has the right to use you as a sponge. And this is going out to all of you empaths as well as dark empaths. That's why I consider myself to be a dark empath, because I do cloak myself. I do not want to take on other people's crap. And empaths are always scapegoated upon, and people blame us for their issues, and the next thing you know, they're throwing all of their stuff at us, and it's like, hey, wait a minute, this ain't fair. This is your issue to deal with. You need to deal with you. I'm over here dealing with me and mine. You need to go deal with you and yours. And if you're not a client, you can't get spiritual work over here. I don't work for free. I don't work for free. And I think that's what a lot of people get an attitude about, is that I charge for my readings, I charge for my services, and they just expect it to be free. And I don't appreciate that. No, it's not free. Yes, I do expect to get paid for what I do. And y'all got to understand that I was born this way. I was born an empath, and I've always felt like I've always taken on other people's baggage, and nobody even appreciated it. So when people have to pay for it, that means that they appreciate it. Hello? It is not my job to just take on everybody else's baggage. And when you look at what people are doing, even though they may throw other stuff in there to justify what they're doing, that's what they're doing. They're essentially throwing all of their problems off on someone else, and they want free work. That's one of the reasons why, as an experienced practitioner, I will send your stuff back to you, because I'll get nice. I'll get in my nice mode to where, I'm just like, I'm gonna send things away, and spirit will go, no, that's gotta go back to that person for them to deal with it. Because that ain't nobody's responsibility for them to deal with that but them. And it does get irritating when people think that they can dump their problems off on you. And we have a lot of people doing that, you know? And especially if you are a self-proclaimed witch, then that it really gets worse, because then all of a sudden everything is your fault. Everything is your fault. Even people that you don't know, you ain't thinking about, you ain't got nothing to do with that. Everything is your fault. And that ain't the way it's supposed to be. Everybody has to take responsibility for what they create. You created it, you take responsibility for it. My only job is to get you and your bad energy and your bad spirits up out of my energy. So I am very adamant about that. Nobody in this world was born and exists to be kicked around and to be your kick toy. Nobody has a personal kick toy. Nobody. That's disgusting. I don't even believe in that. And that's because I'm not an abusive person. Okay. So, yeah. So, anyway, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this discussion. Hit that thumbs up. And you guys know how to reach me if y'all need me. I'm going to be on TikTok soon. I think I'm gonna get up from here and go get me some coffee. All right, y'all. Have a good day. Blessings. Bye bye.